So my name is Shankar. I'm at Director of Product Management in Ola, as you can see. So I represent a company that is aspiring to build mobility for about 1 billion Indians. So before I go, I just want to have a show of hands. How many people have come to this event through booking in Ola? Good. How many people came in Uber? That's nice, everyone. How many people use their own personal transport? There's still a lot of people. See, that's the kind of market that we are looking at. Okay. So in Ola, what I do is I am responsible for a team called Ola Care. Basically, we build products for customer support. We build our CRMs and DRMs. We also build the self-serve support that you are seeing in the app. So, anytime in the past, if we have charged you a cancellation fee and you have gone to a particular section and got it reversed, yeah, we build that product for you. Okay. So I also have a couple of my colleagues here, Krishna and Arun. Probably at the end of the this session, probably you can also talk to him to figure out how to use it. A little bit about ourselves. I think Ola is one of our unicorns, so you all guys know it. We are the largest cab aggregator in India in terms of number of cities we operate in, and we already hit about 1 million users. So in a day we are always hit our million booking already. We have a lot of products. We cater to not just for a particular segment, but a lot of different use cases. India is a very unique market compared to other markets. So we have products like Micro and Mini, which is in a very lower price segment. We have Prime and Lux, which typically caters to a business or a high-end customers. We have Share, where we're actually competing with the autos and the traditional buses. And if you have a different use case where you wanted to take a rental for about 4 hours, or if you want to go to another city, we have options like rentals and outstations. We have bikes in certain things. We even have e-rickshaws. I don't know how many of you have seen it. The CEO of our company launched it in the presence of Prime Minister. We also have shuttle, like a bus that goes between certain segments, right? With the demonetization thing coming up, we have come out with a lot of different products on our wallets. We have Ola Money wallet, which has been there for quite some time. Very recently, we introduced credits. Even if you don't have money in your Ola Money wallet, you can use your credit to take a cab, which you can pay later to us. There's no interest rate on it as in yet, so you can use that. We also have a corporate wallet. If some of your corporates wants to offer this as a service to an employee, we have a corporate wallet where they can choose a corporate wallet, and then the corporate will later make the payment back to Ola. We can pay through your credit cards, and of course, if nothing else works, you are not a digital cashless guy, or you're not a part of Digital India, you can still pay through our cash. Okay. Next is what I want to do here is I want to talk about how are we using Zendesk, and how does Zendesk help us in our journey from where we were at what year we end up back to where we are today. This is our touch points in Ola. So we have two different kinds of customer support, what we call as a customer care and a partner care. Customer care is the people who take the right, people like you who call us and say you have a problem and we kind of solve it. Not just the customers, the drivers who are our partners, even they have a problem. Sometimes they call us and they get in touch with us because they have some issues to resolve. Even that we manage it. If you see it, we have very different touch points, not just the voice. People can call us through voice, which is our customer call center. We also have email support. If you send an email out to us, we kind of respond back to you. We also have SOS alerts, which is when you are on a ride on the Ola app, you can actually see a red button. You click on that, immediately the system gives you a signal to the local police station to us, so you can immediately come back and help you. We also have social media support. Social media is one of our larger customer touch points because people are there on the cab. They have internet connectivity. They keep tweeting about it. They post a Facebook post and then gets shared and retweeted. It kind of goes viral. So we want to get back as soon as possible and then reply to these customers. Similarly, on the partner side of it, we also have partners calling us. When I say partners, basically the drivers. They call us, so we give them information about their number of rides they have done, what their payments are, how are their incentives and stuff like that. We also have operators. Operators are people who operate more than one cars. They are like, things like the Akbar Travels or all those different people. So they also have a call us and we can give support. We have cab attachment. If somebody wants to attach a cab, let's say I have a yellow board cab, I want to drive for Ola, we also support that through Zendesk. And we also have partner walk-in. We have a lot of offices all over India, so people can walk in and say that I have a problem. So even that happens. All those information goes in Zendesk. As you can see, Zendesk is the central for all this. We use Zendesk as a ticket management system. Every single touch point, whichever be the case, whether it's call, whether it's voice, or whether it is email, or whether it's a SOS, we get a ticket in Zendesk so that serves as a central repository for all our customer issues. This is very important for us because Zendesk gives you the customer experience. What is the kind of customer issues that you are facing? If I wanted to know, if my CEO wants to know what kind of problems that you are facing, the place we go is Zendesk. So we go to Zendesk, pull out and say that what are different types of issues that we have, what kind of channel that they come from, what kind of solution that we have provided, in what day, what time that the issues comes in which category of the ride that comes in. Is it going to be driver issues? Is it going to be quality issues? Is it going to be any other issues, right? So those are the things that goes into the Zendesk system, and then we pull it out. And Zendesk also serves as a customer satisfaction metrics for us. We use the Zendesk CSAT water feature that they have built to get the feedback from our customers and partners, and that kind of drives some of our decisions. So we continuously work towards to see how can we continuously improve the CSAT, where do the CSATs go down, which dispositions or which kind of problems that we have lesser CSAT, and how do we continue to improve that. Okay. Some of the other apps that we use in Zendesk, we are a very technically focused team. Ola considers themselves as a tech team. So we build a lot of our apps on our own. We use an app called Round Robin. So as I said, there are too many tickets that gets created, and we use the Zendesk app to ensure that whenever a new ticket gets created, it gets assigned to a next available agent. It's not just a next available agent, we also look at his workload, his skills, can he handle it, different types of languages, different types of skill set that has been built. So we built a Round Robin app on top of Zendesk so that this work can happen for us. We also very recently built a reminder app. Typically what happens is when we call up a customer and say, hey, you have a problem that you contacted us either through your email or social media, they always say, you know what, I'm a little busy now, call at 3 o'clock, right? So we built an app which said that the agent will just make a mention saying that this guy wants to be called at 3 o'clock back. So around about 2:55, whichever agent has been assigned to it, it will always remind them and say, you know what, you need to call this guy first because we made a commitment to him. So that's the kind of customer experience we are trying to build so that we can serve the customers and ensure that whatever issues that they face, we can fix it. Real-time dashboard, in fact, some time back, one of the reasons why we chose Zendesk was that we had a better analytic capability. The dashboard that we built is real-time. So because these rides happen real-time, these problems happen real-time, we can't just wait for some kind of an ETL to run, then we can look at the data. It almost happens real-time. Whenever there's an issue that we feel that it is kind of flaring it up, immediately we'll get to know and we'll start talking to the respective team. To give an example, when the demonetization thing was happening, everybody was going into Ola Money, everybody was recharging Ola Money, then we suddenly figured out that the cost on Ola Money is going to increase because we need more servers to be added, sometimes credit cards was failing, certain credit cards from certain banks were failing. So immediately we got to know about it in like about 10 minutes, immediately after the announcement came up, and we were able to jump on it and then start fixing it. So from that perspective, the real-time dashboard has been a lot of help for us. And we also build some other things like a simple thing about multiple downloads so that we can start moving around the data. Okay. Some of the significant wins that we had in the last 1 year. This was something Sandy was also mentioning it. As much as we don't wanted to listen to customers call on the phone, even customer doesn't like to call us. So if you give them support on the app, they are more likely to go there and use it. And if you see some of the CSAT scores that we see around it, it has a huge jump. In fact, when I joined Ola about 6 to 8 months back, the CSAT was hovering around about 40-45%. But then now we are at somewhere around 70-75% because most of the customer support queries we have moved it already to the in-app support. Only very few irate customers who had really bad experience, or sometimes we really wanted to talk to driver as well as customers to resolve the problem, they call us. But for most of it, if you let's say if you think that your billing is incorrect, you think that you lost some items in your cab, you can always go to self-serve and then get it verified or get it cleaned. Okay. Another thing that worked very well for us from a Zendesk perspective is quick workflow automation. In Ola, there's not just a single team. Ola Care is not a single team, but we have a lot of different city teams. Some of the issues needs to be resolved with the city teams. So, for example, let's say a driver says that I want to drive a cab with you, and that's fully sitting in a Jaipur. Right? There's a city team in Jaipur who needs to work towards it. So previously we used to send around those spreadsheets. What we did now is using these views and groups that we have got, we created a group for our Jaipur team. People can download the app and say that I wanted to drive a cab. Immediately ticket gets created, assigned to a agent in Jaipur, and he can immediately resolve the issues. Then the guy who raised the ticket can see it on the app without any agent involvement. The turnaround time was about 3-4 days, sometimes even for a couple of weeks used to go. We reduced it down to like about half an hour now. So if you go and say I want to attach a cab somewhere in Bangalore, I'm sure in a half an hour you get a call and say, hey, no, what you want to attach a cab? Please come out to this office and stuff like that. And not only that, there are other items also is there, especially around, let's say there's a driver who was driving a Mini and he wants to drive a share. So he can always go back and say, you know what, I want to drive a share. Immediately we'll give a call to the partner and say, how do you make that happen? So that we improved turnaround time, and also said that because we moved, in-app support, we got a huge CSAT score. So if you really wanted a working example of how an in-app support works and how that helps you in terms of growing, if you really want to invest, Ola is a very good example. So because we have seen that happen in the last 6 months. And this is the last slide. What are we trying to do in the future? We are also excited about some of the new features that Zendesk has come out with. We are trying to build some bots which can answer some of your emails. Currently, the emails, when I get an email, not much of information is available there. So what we will do is immediately we'll send some, let's say you send me an email, you don't give me your right number, or you are emailing me from a particular email address which is not registered with us. So the first couple of conversations the bots will do, and we probably will be able to solve some of the problems, but then if it's a really serious issue, if a security issue or some driver misbehaved with you, we'll immediately send it to a security team which will immediately call you. So some kind of thing that we are doing it. We're also looking at some speech analytics kind of things, where whenever customer calls us, we look at this analytics, we look at this recording, we analyze the speech and say that, hey, what are they talking about? Are they happy? We're trying to do some sentiment analysis around it to see whether the call went well, or whether the customer was happy at the end of the call and stuff like that. And we are going to know some of the remaining items that is not there in our in-app right now. We're planning to move it into in-app support so that at least about 90% of the support happens through the self-serve model that we do. Okay, so that's the quick and small presentation that I had, and I'm open to questions.
Just expand on speech analytics. What did you do?
So we are currently exploring speech analytics. When a customer calls us, we are going to record that call, and we are going to run it through a speech analytics software, which is going to look at the speech and identify what they actually spoke. They kind of identify, saying that what are the different keywords. Let's say they're talking about a driver denied duty case, or they're talking about driver behavior, or they're talking about Ola money issues, things like that. So we'll identify what they actually spoke about. Some kind of a workload will come. Based on that, we can take an action. Okay, so that's the one part, and then we can also do sentiment analysis. Was it a good irate customer? Was the customer was irritated at the start of the call? At the end of the call, what happened to him? He was a happy customer or a sad customer. So some of those things we are doing it. This data will flow back into Zendesk and we'll be using it for reporting. So we just made it very small so that.
Well, there's to have something like search pricing. How do you actually do that?
Unfortunately, I'm not responsible for building search pricing. But search pricing, the way it works is it looks at the demand and the supply around that place, and based on that, it puts you a search price. So the demand is very high and supply is low, which is when we do a search pricing.
Don't you feel that it's unfair?
Good question, but it's a question that my CEO should answer.